Hey you guys, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. I am of course Michael Clarida, the curator of this channel, and illustrator, toy designer, product reviewer on occasion. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to review a product that I have been anticipating to review for quite a long time. So you guys know that, or those of you that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and educate you. I'm an illustrator in my professional career. I also design toys, 3D sculptures and collectibles, and graphic design. I worked in apparel for years. I do plush. I do quite a few things as it pertains to retail and collectible markets. So I typically will work on a display tablet. And those of you who are familiar with display tablets, companies such as Wacom, XP Pen, Yugi, some of the more budget-minded companies, your Huion, and some of the the lesser-known companies that have gotten into the market, Artisul. So today, actually, the wonderful people over at Huion, who I've done reviews for before, I did reviews of their Inspiroid tablet line. I've done reviews of their key dial. I've done reviews of the 16 Pro, which was a wonderful device, especially when traveling. And they reached out to me and they said, hey, would you like to review one of our budget-minded, larger format tablets, the 24-inch Kamvas? And I said, heck yeah, I would love to do that. So what they did is they sent me the tablet, and I'm going to review it on this channel today. So what my review entails typically is an unboxing. And, I'll review the packaging, I'll review the assets on the inside, and then I hook everything up and I start drawing. So some channels will do line tests, which we'll probably get into, and then they kind of leave it at that. What I do is I get into the real minutia of what the tablet is, right? These tablets that you spend buku bucks on, this one retails for $7.99, the 24-inch Kamvas, and on sale right now for $7.19 on their website. These tablets live with us for a very long time, right? Especially if you're a professional. As a professional, I have something called the investment versus return equation. If I invest money into a product, I want there to be a high degree of return because I use the products for years and years and years. I mean, case in point, one of the products that I purchased back in 2014, 2013, I still use it. So that just goes to show you that the 10-year lifespan of a product doesn't really end its usability. Huion, they've been around quite a while, and they are innovators, just like some of the other companies out there. But Huion does things at a different level. I've respectively, reviewed other products that are competitors, and I can definitely see in terms of fit and finish and quality, Huion is right up there with the industry standard. The industry standard being, of course, Wacom. Wacom is the purveyor and inventor of this particular technology, the wireless pen technology. And they started out making tablets and display tablets, early on, and it was mostly for the medical field. And then they innovated and innovated and innovated. But the problem is with Wacom, and I think that a lot of professionals will agree with me, is the price. Wacom products are very expensive. And, whenever you're evaluating price versus return, you invest your money and you want some of those products to last. And unfortunately, my experience with some of the Wacom products is less than spectacular. I'm not going to go into all the details, but let's just say one of the products completely failed, and it didn't sit well with me that their customer service really just left me out to dry, and they didn't do anything about it. Huion customer support, Huion customer service, their warranties, the peripherals, all the things that they give to you whenever you buy a product such as this are just really good. It gives you a good experience. So enough chit-chatting, I'm going to go ahead and open the box. Now, the box is huge. I still don't know. Here I am sitting in the morning of the unboxing, and I still don't know how I'm going to unbox this thing. Additionally, some of the details of the 24 canvas that we're going to talk about are pretty much industry standard now. Your 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity, your 60 degrees of tilt, your your QHD, which is 2.5K resolution. A lot of the tablets are going to 4K, and I believe they offer a 4K. So what's great about Huion is they offer different tablets, or not, they offer tablets that are similar at different price points. So if you want the Pro model, then you're going to pay a Pro price. If you want a mid-range series tablet, then you're going to pay a mid-range. This particular one is geared toward maybe a hobbyist or a professional on a budget. That's me. So it's got 2.5 QHD resolution. It says QLED, so I'm not sure what QLED is. I know what OLED is. And then, of course, their latest and greatest PenTech 3.0 technology, which supports that really great feel whenever you're drawing on the screen. It does not have a laminated screen, which is bonded to the LCD. It's got a coating, so we're going to look at the parallax factor, because a lot of times, whenever you don't have bonded screens, the parallax will show up. But we're going to go ahead and do an unboxing, and I'm going to narrate over it, because in the midst of me unboxing something, a lot of times I'm moving all around, and this is a huge device. So hopefully we can get it looking good. And after the unboxing, we're going to set everything up. We're going to attach it to a laptop computer, and we're going to get to drawing, because I'm anxious to compare this to existing products that I've used. So I'm going to be comparing it to the Wacom 22 HD display tablet, and also I'll probably compare it to the XP Pen 24 Artist Pro. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's the first thing I pulled out of the box. I want to make sure and cover all my bases here. So I had to do a top unboxing. It doesn't open up like a clamshell. It opens up on the side. So doing a vertical setup like this is probably the best bet. In terms of packaging, it's packaged very well. This is styrofoam, hard styrofoam, very well protected. In terms of the box has good weight to it. And you open it up, and it looks like we have screws at the top here. We're going to go ahead and go through some of the peripheral objects here. So here looks like the pen. Yeah, it's got a little pencil mark right there. Black printing on it's very nice. This is different. This is very in line with what you would see in a high-end audio equipment, and everything's cut formed, which is very nice. Here's the little donut. Huion does donuts, right? Little donuts. I think they're fantastic. I don't know how to open it though. How do you open it? Typically it's an unscrewing mechanism. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later. And here's the pen. We're gonna go ahead and put these items back in the little cubbies. Here's the power supply. Again, very well made. Their cables are always bound very nice and put nice and neat. Not strewn in here. Case in point, I ordered something recently from another vendor called Temu. If anybody knows of that particular company, Temu, the package was destroyed. The product was loose. There was cables everywhere. The package itself was just crushed. I mean, that is unacceptable whenever it comes to retail in these times. Here we are with, looks like the main power cable, and, well, this is interesting. So we've got a, looks like a hex key with a Phillips head screwdriver on it. That's just loose. That's not indicative of what I've seen in Huion before. Loosey-goosey stuff. And here is the peripheral cables that you'd probably plug in the actual tablet. Here's the instruction manual, and of course the glove. I love the glove. The glove is very nice. So that's very cool. And here we go. This is wonderful. Wow. This looks like composite plastic with a metal backing. Here's rubber stops. This, of course, is the stand that you can utilize if you do not have an ergotron arm or some type of mounting arm that you're going to put the tablet, display tablet on. I use a ergotron in my professional work, but today we're actually going to use what comes in the box because not everybody has access to an ergotron arm. So we're going to install this. This is very exciting. Let's go ahead and close the box. Oh, let's go ahead and open the pen. Why not? Let's open the pen. So I'm always one for ease of package operation. Nothing aggravates me more than to get a box that first is hard to open. Second, it actually takes an alternate device, such as a knife, a pair of scissors, to open it. So we're going to see how well. First of all, the box is very tight. I like that. It is a little slippy. So we're going to try our best to open it up. Okay, we did tear it, which is not ideal. But at the end of the day, it is a box. So some of the other companies at different price points will include a sleeve or a case or something that encompasses the device. I'd have to look back. I don't think the other Huion tablet I had came with a case. But this particular pen does not have a case. It does have the donut. So let's go ahead and open it. I'm not a fan of this cheap plastic. I mean, I understand why they do it. It's for sanitation reasons. But I hate that sound. That sound just, yuck. Okay, so the pen is very nice. Very well made. Looks like metal here, metal there. I'm not seeing any misalignment. So the pen's very nice. And of course, bloop, it goes right into the donut on your desk. Now inside of the donut, if I can open it, doesn't want to open. Okay, there we go. It takes a little bit of finagling. For those of you who are unawares and have purchased tablets and have not purchased tablets, and you're looking for replacement nibs, typically in these stands, you'll have additional nibs with a remover. And this is very convenient because, believe it or not, these nibs do wear out. Just because of the textured surface on the display tablet, it does wear those down, and you will need to replace them periodically. And of course, Huion provides replacement nibs on their website. So that just snaps clutch, and it goes in there. Very nice. So let's go ahead, and we're going to pull out the star of the show, per se. Let's get this to the side. Let's go ahead and close this up, and we will get back in there. And I'll do a really quick showing you how to install that stand. Okay, so what I like is they put it in a static-free bag. And then it shows where you're supposed to install the cables. So there's a 3-in-1 and a USB-C. The 3-in-1, that's interesting. I don't know. I'll have to read the directions. A lot of times I'm guilty of not reading the directions. And that, of course, is not ideal. So you're not going to have a knife, which I love. This is kind of like a Ziploc bag. It just opens up. And what typically I would do is I would just tear the whole thing, but just for posterity and preservation of the bag itself, we're going to go ahead and unbox. Very nice. Weight, it probably weighs a good 8 to 10 pounds. It's got a rubberized, kind of almost feels like a rubberized coating on the outside. I am seeing a small bubble right out of the package of the protector. It does have a screen protector on it. It's a matte surface, so literally I can feel it. It's got some catch and some grab to it, which is really nice. Presentation, beautiful. Overall fit and finish, I'm not seeing any levels or any warping of anything. Looks really good. We're going to go ahead and flip it over. And we've got some vents along the side for heat dissipation. It uses screws and it's not pressed fit. It probably does both, pressed fit and Phillips head screws. And here's the I/O right here that you can go in and examine. So it's got, looks like USB, two USB-Cs. Okay. All right. Overall, really easy. I mean, they've streamlined this down. I'm not getting a bunch of other stuff. I don't see any peanuts or anything like that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to set this up and hook it up to a laptop. Oh, I do see a small bubble right here. So 2 bubbles. That is not ideal. 2 small bubbles in the screen from the factory. There was one right here, and there's one right there. Now, I'm not really worried about stuff like that because I know over time, just the heat from the screen will actually bake this out. But QC, that's quality control. Okay, I would definitely like to see no bubbles after I just spent $700 and change on a tablet that I want to last at least 5 years, right? Investment 5 years. So let's go ahead and get it hooked up. So it was pretty easy to hook up. Here I am putting it on my traditional drawing desk right in the corner where I do a lot of my videos. The cables they provided were very well laid out. The tri-cable has HDMI, USB-C, and USB, and the ports on the side, which are USB-C and USB 3.0. So very easy to hook up. And what was really convenient, I thought, was the fact that after I get everything hooked up, you see that white cable coming out of my Samsung host device. I was actually able to hook that into the side of the remaining port on the side of the Huion, and I just run the computer off of that because the main power supply going into the Huion has enough power to power the computer and any other peripheral that you might want to plug in there. So very convenient, very easy to do, very streamlined. It just takes me a little bit longer sometimes because I like to route things correctly. So let's go ahead and install the driver. Okay, so I'm always one for transparency, so I hooked everything up and the pen does work. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just updating and installing the current Huion tablet Windows driver. I'm currently on Windows 11, and I believe I had used a quick key remote on this particular computer before, so it did have a driver, but I went to their website, and I'm going to go ahead and open and install the driver. Okay, so I've installed the driver, I've restarted the machine. Typically, if you have any issues, what'll happen is you won't get good tracking on your pen, or there'll be an anomaly. Maybe the pen cursor jumps, or maybe you'll launch a specific program and you'll have an issue. That's usually resolved with a restart after you install the driver. It's important to note that because a lot of times we get frustrated, we get impatient, we just spent all this money, we want everything to go smoothly, and a lot of times if you just do a complete restart of your PC or Macintosh, that will definitely alleviate some of the issues. So what's nice is a lot of times over here on the right hand side you'll get the panel driver that is installed. Okay, I don't see that it automatic. There it is. So right here on the right hand side, after I've done a restart, here's where I can launch the driver window, and it shows my my 24-inch canvas. So why would I want to launch this? First of all, everybody is different. Everybody has a protocol of how they install things. Me, I like getting into the driver and understanding exactly what I can do. So as it pertains to this tablet, I can go in and I can add a program, right? Let's say I want to add Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to launch Photoshop. This is the most current iteration of Photoshop. Now, overall, the presentation of the screen is beautiful. It is very crisp. Colors are very saturated. And I'm comparing this to my current setup, but also I'm comparing it to the screen I have over on my left-hand side, which is a Samsung Galaxy Book 2 360 using an OLED. Now OLED, if you know anything about it, the blacks are really dark and really rich, and this sitting right beside it is very comparative. Now, if I need to change some settings, and I'm like, I'm not really happy with the way things are as per the factory settings, there's a little button over here that says OK, and it looks like a little menu keyboard. You can press that, and it'll bring up all of the settings that you can change. You can change backlight, brightness, contrast, sharpness, and as it pertains to color, you can change the gamma if you want it to have a specific gamma, gamma spectrum. You can change a myriad of different settings. You can go ultra, and it's got some pre-done stuff. You can change your aspect ratio. You can change to ultra vivid color. But just for today's demo, I wanted to keep it pretty close to what it came from the factory, because most people aren't going to get into those settings, right? So you can tell that currently my menus are pretty big, and if I want to change that, I can go over here to my settings. I hit settings. I go to displays. Currently, I've got it scaled to 175%. If I want it 200%, which will make everything bigger, right? If I scale it to 200, watch, everything becomes bigger. So what I like to do is either I keep it 100%, okay, which is very similar to what I have on my screen over here, or typically 125 to 150. So another factor whenever you change that setting is your eyesight, right? This is a very large, very large screen. So some of you might defer to maybe 150%, right? 150% is pretty much what I'm used to. So we're going to keep it at 150 today. And in terms of tracking, let's go to tracking. Okay, so the digital pen. Pressure sensitivity adjustment. Okay, you can change your sensitivity, and what's nice is you can change the sensitivity based upon the program. All programs, that's called your global setting. Okay, since I have Photoshop launched, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a program. We're going to go down here, and what's nice is it's got the icons. Some other interface companies, some of the other drivers don't list the icons. It just shows the file location. So that's really nice that Huion has the fortitude and the foresight to say, hey, let's go ahead and show that icon. So let's go ahead. I like my brushes a little bit harder. Okay. Right around there. And this is just as per, the user, right? So then if I want to do Illustrator, I would click on Illustrator. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll launch the program. So then I'll come back here and I will add Illustrator, add a program, scroll down to Illustrator. Now I can change the pressure curve of Illustrator. Again, I like my pressure just a little bit harder than factory. So we're going to keep to that. And what's nice is I can go ahead and I can export my settings to the desktop. And I can say, hey, today, setting 6, today's the date, 15/23. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to set and save all of the settings in this particular driver window. And I can go back at any point in time. Okay, and that's really nice. So let's go to general. So dark, blue, you can change the settings of it. I really like blue. New message alert if you have any updates. It updates itself. And of course, if I need to change any display settings within the driver, I can do that. So I can change the brightness, contrast ratio, right? We can make it a little more contrasty. I like things a little bit more contrasty. Okay, nice. So then we come back to the pen display. You can change the working area if you want. You can actually calibrate the monitor as well. I do like calibrating the monitor just because it gives me complete control and a reassurance that I know that I did it right. Okay, so now we're good. Monitor's calibrated. Digital pen is calibrated to the specific programs that I want to utilize. Let's go ahead and quit that. Okay. And file, new, create. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick, just because I can, I do own the Huion Quick Key Remote. So I'm going to go ahead and break out the Quick Key Remote. I'm going to program the Quick Key, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the pen test and the illustration demo utilizing the Huion Kamvas 24. And here we are inside of Photoshop. So what I like to do, as I've done numerous times before, is to do a line test. So I like going in, first I have pressure off, because I want to do what's known as the kind of the traditional line test, right? Does it have any wiggle? Does it have any anomalies? Is there going to be a problem whenever I draw slowly? So basically, I'm going to go freehand. There are no line smoothers on right now. Okay, you're seeing some wave. That's just because the textured surface is actually gripping slightly onto my hand and it's causing a little bit of a wave. So I'm going to grab my trusty ruler. And you can see that the line is completely straight in the vertical. Then we go to the horizontal. So we're going to go ahead and go horizontal. And again, any kind of anomaly you see, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Okay. So if there was an anomaly with the digitizer and the wireless batteryless pen, there would be hills and valleys, like right here, 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 so on and so forth. We're not getting any of that whenever I'm going freehand. And like I said, any kind of wave that you're seeing over the course of me going across the screen is going to be a natural organic wave. It's not going to be mechanical. Hold on here. I just messed up. So let's go back. And of course you see solid, beautiful straight line. This test is important in a couple of ways. You see this, a lot of other YouTubers do this. It's because it brings out some of the faults that is inherent in the digital pen technology, if there is one. Okay. So I'm looking, I'm not seeing any waves that would cause me to just throw up my hands and say, oh, there's a problem. Diagonal again, it's a very organic line. And I say organic because if it was a mechanical line and there was an anomaly, you would see the digitizer and the algorithm go in and there would be these waves. This is very indicative of in-trig technology, and since this is not in-trig technology, you're not going to see stuff like this, these hills and valleys. So I say that so far so good. So let's go ahead and turn on pressure. Now we're going to get into a little bit more of a pressure test. So right now, what I'm looking for is a consistent line of pressure, right? A consistent line. I don't want to see any breaks. Okay, I'm seeing a couple little itty bitty, but this could be happening. So just in the course of me taking the pen, running it across the textured surface, and me coming on these edges, like right here, right here, right here, right here, here, and here. What I'm seeing, basically, and I need to go ahead, I need to make absolutely sure, because whenever we go around a corner a lot of times, even though we think we're giving perfect pressure, we're actually lifting a little bit and we're coming back in. So the one variable that is hard for me to control, especially in this context, is me. So I'm doing my best. So let's go and we're going to go very light pressure. I'm just going to set the pin on here. Okay, so I'm not getting any pressure by just setting the pin on. Okay, now if I were to go ahead and go back, let's go back to the driver. And this is also important to know because if you're very frustrated with what's going on, let's go back here, and you're not understanding why your pressure is off, you can always come back to the driver and custom, change the pressure curve. So let's go to Photoshop, and right now it's not at its default. So let's go ahead and bring it up a little. Bring a little bit up here so it's a little more sensitive. Okay. All right. So now we're going to come back, and it's a much better, see, very light. See, it's like whenever I come around that corner there and I go to come back in up top, I'm going to press harder. So that's why you're seeing it lift in certain areas. Man, this pressure curve is fantastic. And you got to remember, 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity is nothing to laugh at. That is the industry standard currently. I can remember back in the day, back whenever we used to actually only have 248 levels of pressure sensitivity. And that was plenty. It was plenty for what we did. And as the technology progressed, we started getting, into the 2000. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then we got into the 4000, and that was unreal. And now we're in the 8,000, and even one of the one of the companies out in the marketplace even has over 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. So everybody knew it was bound to happen. The thing is the pressure sensitivity at this particular, at this level and size of the brush, it's very hard to discern. It's a feeling. It's hard for me to convey through the screen to you that there is a difference between 4,000 and 8,000. It's very small, especially whenever you're drawing small, but whenever you draw big, that's whenever you start having and start seeing things a little bit different. Like if I were to go up to like this size, right? So if I were to draw this big, then you would start seeing some problems, some jumping around. Even going bigger than that. I mean, this is like a 17-inch, this is a 5,000 pixel brush, right? So I can't even believe that my computer can draw this. So that pressure curve at that size, that's whenever you're going to start seeing some drop off as far as pressure. But for this particular application and what I'm doing and what this tablet's going to be used for, 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity is phenomenal. At 2K, 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity coupled with, a great host machine. This, to me, this is, I'd say, a pro-level machine. I know it's at a discount price point, but just because it doesn't have, a lot of times the differences between the pro machines and the non-pro machines will be you'll have quick keys on the edge. I don't typically use these. I use a quick key remote or I use my keyboard since I have muscle memory. So, at this price point, around $750 to $800, I think this particular machine so far has been a complete winner. Now we're going to do what you came here for. We're going to draw something using the Kamvas 24. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, and it's drawing time. So today, just because I want to showcase not only the wonderful size of this particular tablet, but also the drawing prowess. And, if you're having issues, if you hook this tablet up and you're having issues, let's say with speed, a lot of times what you're going to run into is not necessarily the tablet's fault, but it has to do with your host machine. If you have an older computer or one that doesn't really support 2K, 2.5, 4K, some of those higher end screens, what you're going to run into is lag. I don't have any lag because the computer I have is extremely powerful. It's an i7. I think it's got 16. No, it's got 30. I think it's got 32 gigs of RAM. It's got a very hefty video card in it, and it's just a fantastic machine. So if you're having issues, definitely look at that first. But today we're going to start drawing an orangutan, a baby orangutan. I love animals. I'm actually a wildlife illustrator, as well as toy designer and some of the other things that I've got in my repertoire. But I just love drawing animals. And one of the things, one of the things that I do whenever I start drawing, reviewing products, I started reviewing products. I can remember looking at so many videos, because I couldn't find one video that showed everything that I really wanted. You had some videos that showed, the line test. You had some videos that showed the, somebody just drawing really simple stuff. But as an illustrator, I wanted everything. I wanted the unboxing. I wanted the driver install. I wanted to see if there were any issues. I wanted to make sure it was a good drawing experience. I wanted somebody that had been in the marketplace for a while, and I wanted it to be a one-stop shop. And that's one of the reasons why I started my channel, is out of that frustration, because I think at the time I was looking for a tablet, and I couldn't find one video. Everybody had they would just spend 5 minutes reviewing stuff. And I'm like, well, I ended up watching some videos like 4 and 5 times. I would watch some videos, part of the ways, and then I'd have to move on because they didn't give me the proper information. And then some of them, were just out for the clicks. And that's not what I'm about. I am about giving you everything I can. And even if I have to go so far as to overdoing it, so hopefully you understand why some of my reviews are so stinking long, right? I think one of the guys said, if you would just, shut up and draw. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's a review, and I got to make sure I cover everything. So yeah, so far it's very indicative of other products that I've reviewed by Huion. Fit and finish is very good. Quality is very good. Response is very good. And the screen, even though I started out having those couple of bubbles, I'm looking for them now. And I don't. Nope, I see one over on the side there. So I can remove this if I want to. I can remove this screen film that they have on here. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it, just because I think that I like it. I like the feel of it overall. It feels really nice. So, overall, so far, great response, great pressure curve, really good feel. And I use that word very sparingly, because you're not going to be able to understand what I'm talking about. Oh, bro, it feels really good. It's just nice. And you're like, well, I have no idea. I don't understand, because you're, in the computer there, and I don't know what you're talking about. It's very smooth. Okay. It's got great response, great pressure curve. I'm a big advocate of tapering the barrel similar to a pencil. And this has a medium taper. I would like to see a little bit more taper, just because whenever I'm drawing, if I need to go ahead and use the tilt, I'm going to tilt that brush on the side. And occasionally, if I go too far, I'm going to rub that barrel on the surface of the screen. And this has a really good taper. I would like to see more, but that's just personal preference. So this drawing is probably going to take me about 3 hours, and we're not gonna sit here and talk for 3 hours. I know some people would be like, no, it's great, but some of the comments I've received pertaining to talking, oh gosh, I'm just like, oh my, yeah. Some people are very, very animated with their words. Let's just leave it at that. I'm like, well, okay, I'm sorry. I'll try and be quiet. And then other people are like, don't worry about it, just talk. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a balance today. We're going to do some talking, right? We're going to do some drawing. And overall, hopefully you guys get a better understanding of exactly what I'm talking about. So compositionally speaking, since this is not really a quote-unquote drawing tutorial, it is a review of the Canvas 24, I'm not going to get into the minutia and all of the details pertaining to the composition. What I am going to do, however, is I'll do a time lapse for you guys, and you can kind of watch me go through my process of drawing a baby orangutan hanging out. Let's go ahead and have his eyes. I love primates. I love drawing primates. They're beautiful, for one thing. I'm a creature guy as well. I love drawing creatures, but animals. Animals and me, I've always been that way. I've always really liked drawing animals in general, and I've just had an affinity for them, pretty much my entire career. And, sometimes I even talked about this when I was teaching at the college, the local college, teaching an illustration class. And I said, because a lot of people were wondering, oh, how do you get the energy, the energy to do, all the drawings you do. And it's just, I'm so tired all the time. And I said, well, you got to have like that adventurous spirit. You have to think, okay, I'm going to learn how to draw, let's say, an elephant. Well, how do you do that? You don't draw an elephant once. You have to draw an elephant like 1,000 times to learn how to quote unquote draw an elephant. Now you could say you've drawn an elephant, but that's different from knowing how. And that's the thing that I think we have lost, right? We've lost a lot of that. I feel like I need to be adventurous and find out what it's all about. What is this drawing thing about? And how do I do it? Because I run into so many people that just are discouraged. And I always tell them, I say it's like a forest, right? You're in a forest and you want to get out of the forest, right? There is a way to get out. There's multiple ways to get out. But if, things are in your way, let's say you have to chop down trees. I'm not an advocate for chopping down trees. This is just an analogy. So you have to chop down the trees to get where you're going, to get out, to have a clear path. Well, each drawing is similar to a tree. So I always say, you got to chop down some trees to get where you're going. And that has to do with drawing. Every single drawing is it's an obstacle for me to learn on how to draw something better. So hopefully I don't confuse you guys too much. He's like, today he did a video and it was about trees. I can just see somebody saying that. Or somebody being real smart alecky and be like, trees, kind of sounds like Bob Ross. So let's go ahead. Big pupils in there. I'm going to color those in. So I've reviewed, like I said, I've reviewed a lot of tablets. And this Huion is, I said it in the intro package, I believe. Huion is a different company, right? They are competing with so many different other entities that are rising up, and they've been, industry leaders for a while, and creating great products at lower price points, and just really good. So I'm excited to see where they're going. It's like I've said this before, with all these companies creating all these technological gizmos and gadgets, I'm the one that really gets the benefit from it, because the prices keep getting lower and the technology keeps getting better, right? So, all right, I think I'm at that spot where you can kind of see, as far as compositionally speaking, we need to change the location of this ear. Compositionally speaking, you can see kind of what I'm thinking about. So I've got my orangutan right there. We're going to go ahead and take taper off. And I'm just going to start blocking in. Actually, I'm not going to do the texture drawing. I'm going to block that in with some more value. As you see, my giant collection of brushes over here on the left hand side. There are certain, I try to set every computer up the same. It doesn't always work out that way. But, so you get to see a little bit of exactly what I'm talking about here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just placing in some value to kind of push and pull some of the, you know, some of the compositional elements, like in the background. I don't want focus to go in the background, so I'm trying to okay, good. Come back here. Oops, taper's on. And we got some leaves right here. So I encourage you to look at some other videos for the Kamvas 24. I'm sure that some of those other people have great reviews as well. Just don't rely upon this one. But I endeavor to cover all the things that I think you as the user would want to know, right? All those things that I know I wanted to know whenever I first started looking for stuff, you know, looking at stuff. Okay. All right, and what's nice with this large screen, I can afford to, you know, place stuff. If I had reference up here, if I had reference over here on the left-hand side, I could afford that because of the giant, you know, real estate that this particular tablet has. It's just a fantastic form factor. I think 24 is the perfect size. I've had 24, I've had 22, I've had 16, I've had 15, I've had 14. I mean, I've had, you know, 12.9. I think that 24 is the perfect size. I can't even imagine. I've never drawn on a 32, and it'd be nice just to try it out, but man, that's huge. That's so big. 32 is so big. I don't even know where that would go. Okay, so now we're going to place in a couple small final elements before I get into the time lapse. Where am I at here? Okay, a lot of people ask me about the brushes that I use. I have collections of brushes, just so many brushes over the years, right? Collecting them. I've had, you know, from different studios. I mean, Disney, whenever I was at Disney, Disney had their own custom brushes that I was able to get my hands on, you know, for vectoring, and a lot of their artists create brushes, and you know, I've got brushes from different studios that I've worked in, and I've purchased a lot of brushes. A great resource, obviously, is Google, because you can go in and you can search out Photoshop brushes, and a lot of people don't want to pay for them, but I don't think that's right. I pretty much, you know, if I saw a brush that I liked, I definitely want to reward the creator for it, and I encourage you to do the same. I mean, if you're going to use it, go ahead and pay for it. So, okay, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on time lapse, and we're going to spend some time loving on this baby orangutan using the Huion Kamvas 24. All right, enjoy the process. And this is where I'm going to land on with this piece. So did I have fun with the Huion Kamvas 24-inch display tablet? I thought it was spectacular. You know, with those over 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, the improved pen tech activation, as well as the design of the pen, really led to a seamless experience whenever it came to drawing. Hooking up the tablet was really clean. The unboxing was fantastic. It is a larger form factor tablet, so you're going to have a larger place to let this, you know, be set up and have its home. Overall, I didn't get any heat from it. There's no heat from it, so I used this tablet for about 2 hours, just over 2 hours to do this piece. And overall, it didn't have any flicker, didn't have any issues at all. I think that Huion really knocked it out of the park, especially being a tablet that is, you know, not at the higher price point. Whenever you buy a tablet like this, you want it to have maximum return for investment. And I think that the Kamvas 24-inch display is just wonderful. You know, 2.5K resolution, covers and checks a lot of the boxes that you would need as a professional, those 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, and just overall fantastic. Great installation with the driver, very easy to use. And overall, if you're looking for a tablet to, you know, maybe you're going to art school and you need a larger display tablet, you know, right at under $800, this thing is knocking it out of the park left and right. The color saturation is fantastic. I compared the colors to my Samsung OLED display, and it's right, you know, right within the spectrum that I need as a professional. You know, Huion does offer quite a few different tablets at different price points. Some include the hotkeys. Some tablets are 4K. They even make a tablet now that is an all-in-one, and you don't basically need a host machine. So definitely go to huion.com, check out some of their offerings, because, you know, I'm all for companies innovating. I'm all for companies, you know, competing with have competition with their competitors, because like I said in the intro package, you know, the one person that really benefits from all of this competition and innovation is going to be me, the user, me, the artist, me, the purchaser. So if you're in the market for a 24-inch large format drawing tablet, definitely consider the Huion Kamvas 24. What a wonderful experience. So that is all I had for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know that the videos are a little bit longer, but I do that to really show you all the ins and outs of the experience of purchasing a tablet like this. Some do just line tests, some don't even show you the unboxing, and some, you know, just say, oh, it was a great tablet and move on. I want you to get the full experience, the full review, and use it exactly the way that you would use it. And hopefully I covered some of those areas. And if you like, got a lot of other videos on the channel. You can go through. I think we're up to 638, 637, something like it. It's a lot of videos. But definitely, I really had a good time with this, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe and share. Don't forget to share and hit that notification bell for future videos. So thank you guys, and a big shout out to Huion for providing this tablet to me today. I definitely enjoyed it, and I look forward to future endeavors and collaboration. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.